Hello loves, hope you've had a good week. So I'm here showing you how I remove my acrylic nails. I haven't got any lint-free pads because I haven't ordered any yet. So I've cut my cotton wool pads into quarters using my stalk scissors. I've taken some tin foil, just normal tin foil, and what I do is I cut it in a long strip, I double it over, and then I fold a little lip on the end. And it's perfectly fine for me. These are the tools I use. So I've got a 150-180 grit file. So the 150 grit is the coarser side and the finer side is the 180. I've got my old cuticle tool that I don't use on my cuticles now. I use the pinching side though. I've got my nippers that I'm going to use to remove my 3D art. So I've started on this and then I realised I hadn't filmed it. I was like, no! And pay no attention to that flower. That was me trying to get my brush to come back to life, my 2D brush thing, but it's not working. My brush needs to go to the brush graveyard, so I need a new brush. So yeah, I'm nipping because what you've got to remember is I put this flower on a surface that was already top coated, so it's not going to pull at my nail, it's not going to pull at the extension or make it uncomfortable. So I can get those nippers under the edge and just gently kind of pinch and peel at the same time. Now if you're not confident with this method, don't use it please, because especially on a client, because you could cut them. So if you're confident with this method, by all means go for it. If you're not, please don't, just file it down. I don't have an e-file, I don't have the need for one. I do my filing by hand, and to be quite honest, I can't make my mind up. I've thought about getting one, can't make my mind up which one to get. So I file by hand and I use my cuticle nippers to remove my art. So that's what I'm doing here. And there we go, all done, just getting the last little bits and bobs off. Obviously the surface is going to be uneven, but there was still a bit of sparkle there. I absolutely loved these nails, by the way. I didn't want to take them off, but I can't stand it the minute they grow out. And because I don't have an e-file, for me personally, I'm not going to infill them and file that all down. So yeah. Next, I'm going to cut the length down because as you can see, I cut the other ones down. So I'm going to cut the length. Now I'm doing it on myself. I'm supporting so we don't get any tips flinging off in anyone's face. And then I'm going to take the surface shine off using the 150 grit side. Now remember to score the edges because my goodness, it hurts if you cut yourself and your client. So I'm scoring the edges just to make sure that it's smooth and I'm not going to slice my cuticles into oblivion. Okay, so this is about me taking the gel polish off because when I put the acetone on, I want it to penetrate straight into the acrylic. As you can see, when I get round to the side walls of the nail, I'm using my index finger to put, oh yes, sorry, I spotted my shiny nail and I'm like, shiny! So I was just showing you that I've been having a play recently with other ideas. I'm pulling that skin at the side wall away as much as I can from the file so that I don't catch it, so I don't rub it, because obviously doing your own nails is quite cat-handed, so I'm trying to protect my skin at all times and not pushing down extremely hard, just letting the file do the work because it's an abrasive side of a file. I'm going to do that on all 5 fingers and then I'm going to come in with my heavy duty dust buster. My brush, my giant toothbrush, that's what me and the kids call it, the giant toothbrush. I'm just going to take the residue off so that I'm not soaking dust off, just get it out of the way. I can see what I'm working with, I can check that all that top coat's off. Yes, I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to take my Nail Nails acetone and my pads that I've cut, and I'm literally going to soak the pad one at a time. I do them one at a time because you've got to remember this stuff does evaporate. It's not going to evaporate instantaneously, but you want it poured out of the bottle straight onto the nail. So I tip it out, get a good amount on there. Sometimes I get too much and it dribbles, and then, you know, I ruin all kind of work surfaces doing that. It's good fun. Jokes. My God, jokes. And then I just wrap the foil around and try and support it with my other finger. I think this was the point where I kind of dropped it and swore a bit. Or did I edit that bit out? No, I dropped it. Swore a bit and started again. Because you're doing it on your own finger. So here's actually how I do it when I'm thinking about it. I use my other fingers to support the foil. And I slow down and think about what I'm doing. Wrap it round, then bring that finger in to support it again. Wrap it round again. And then I like to do a twisty pinch. Some people pinch and fold. I twisty pinch. It's just my preferred method. And I'm going to do that on all 5 fingers. And I also, I squeeze to make sure it's all in there. I'm just doing the sparkly finger dance thing. I wait for 10 minutes with these on, and then when I came back, for some reason my camera flipped round the other way. I don't know what I did there, but I did rectify it afterwards. So after 10 minutes, I'm going to untwist gently because I want to be able to reuse it. And I'm just going to unfold, and I do this one at a time. I don't do them all together because the minute the acrylic comes into contact with the air again, it will reharden. So only work one finger at a time. So I'm doing this, and then I'm taking my old cuticle pusher and I'm removing any of the liquefied acrylic. It's very sticky and it gets everywhere. It's a messy way to do it, but that's how I do mine. You don't want to be prizing off acrylic that's not ready to come off. It's probably not going to come off on the first go. So just remove what is already loose, take it away, get it out of the way. Like I said, look, it just sticks. Oh, it drives me mad. And it gets under the nail. Get it out. And then I take my 150 grit file, and all these bumpy bits that are still on there, I'm going to file that back down because some of it's still soft. So whatever's soft and ready to come off, I'm just going to file that bit off. And then I'm going to do that to all the rest of the nails. So remove them one at a time, check what's kind of dissolved and liquefied, scrape that away, file down a bit of the nodule excess and see what we're left with. And on this finger, for example, it's taken quite a lot off on its first go round, as compared to the thumb that had a hell of a lot of glitter on it. So this is after my first soak, and I've removed the liquefied acrylic. I'm going to go back in and use the pads that I already used and re-soak for another 10 minutes. If they're feeling dry, I will put some more acetone on. So after the second 10 minutes, this is where we're at. I'm just going to repeat the procedure again, one at a time, scrape off the liquefied excess, file down the noduly parts. I'm so technical today with my words, it's unbelievable. And see where we're at. Sometimes certain nails might need an extra little soak. It depends on what you've had on them, whether it's a coloured acrylic or a nude acrylic, whether it's glitter or whether it was just plain. It really does depend. I found that the nails that had the chocolate acrylic and the mylar took longer to soak off than the nails that were either nude or clear. So we learn something every day. That's science, folks. Yeah, so we just repeat the steps. Also, once I'm getting close to that acrylic being all gone, I actually use the 180 side of my file just in case I'm on the verge of either hitting nail bed, because I do not want to be going at it with a 150 grit and ruining my nail bed. So make sure the closer you get down to your nail bed, you just go a bit gentle and you make sure you look at what you're filing. Don't just go all crazy with the file. So this is after they've all off. As you can see, they look quite dry. They've been thoroughly dehydrated, haven't they? So I always give my hands a good wash and then move on to the next step. So they're washed, they're clean, the dust is gone. They're still very dry. That's normal because they've been in contact with a chemical. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use 180 buffer block and my normal cuticle pusher, and I'm just going to do some general kind of maintenance on my nails to get them nice and healthy. So I'm going to push back all my cuticles, I'm going to clean any debris off the nail plate, and then I'm just going to buff out any odd little bits there might be left from the acrylic, tiny little bits, little ridges, and then we'll have some nice smooth acrylic free nails. I'm also just going to shape my free edge with the 180 grit side, working in one direction only, because I want them to be nice. I don't want them to pull or make any damage there. So I'm just going to go one direction until they're nice, and I sort of do them semi-rounded. I'm playing the guitar. So actually, if you do see dry skin under my free edge, it's the tip of my fingers are quite dry from playing the guitar, which is why I'm taking my acrylics off and having a bit of a break, because I want to finish writing a song. Just plug my second channel, which is a music channel. I'll put the link below. Yes, so once I've done that, I'm going to nourish the life out of these bad boys with some oil. It's not fragranced, but I do love the Sally Hansen oil. I really like it. It's thick. It's actually really nice, but I do prefer something that has a fruity scent to it. I'm going to add my cuticle oil. I'm going to deeply massage that in, really go to work on it, really spend time there. And then after I've done that, I actually like to get a good dollop of my favourite hand cream, which depends on what it is at the time. I'm actually using, this may sound strange, but for myself, I bought this beautiful body balm for Christmas, and I'm using that on my hands because it's so thick and I get very dry hands, and it's working wonders for me. So after I've done this stage, I let it soak in for a bit, and then I give my hands a real good moisturise, because I've been in contact with some abrasive chemicals and I want to ensure my hands look beautiful. So I take the time, I work that all in. I love this part, it just takes a bit of time. I actually ponder life. And here they are, completely removed and beautifully healthy. I'll just do you a close-up of that. Let's zoom it in so you can have a good look. Here we are. Lovely. No damage, nice and healthy. My free edge is nice and strong, it's not bendy. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!